Welcome back to the channel, my fellow traders and investors. In the current state of the market, it's extremely hard to find high growth tech stocks that are still cheap. Many are trading at a premium and we're left scratching our heads as to which one to buy. I mean, many stocks that we've discussed on this channel like Domo have ran up all the way from $30 a share all the way up to $90. And then stocks like MongoDB that we called out at 200 have hit highs of almost 400, and even stocks like Appian that we called out at 45 hit 260 at its peak. But today we're going to be talking about Elastic NV stock, which is a high growth tech stock that I could still see rise as much as 70%. In fact, this is a stock that I actually called out a screaming buy when it was at $80 a share, and now it's at $155, but I still think it's highly undervalued and extremely overlooked in the tech market. So in this video, I'm going to be covering Elastic's full fundamental analysis and overview of what the company does, and we're going to be diving really in depth into all the numbers and all the facts that you need to know, along with a brief technical analysis at the end of the video so that you know the best areas to potentially buy. With that being said, all I ask in return is that you stick around till the end of the video because we have a lot of interesting things to cover. So let's jump right in. So what exactly does Elastic do? Well, Elastic has a few products, all which revolve around search engines. Their main product is called the Elk Stack, which is a game-changing open source tool. And as you can see in this chart, Logstash collects and transforms data. Elasticsearch allows you to search through all that data easily, and Kibana is a tool that allows you to visualize that data by creating all these cool looking charts. Alright, so that makes sense, but why do companies need Elasticsearch? Well, companies have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands of logs of data. And well, they need to go through all that data, and this is called data logging. Data logging in simple terms is basically storing data over a set period of time, and your goal is to go through all that data, analyze it for specific trends in a network or IT environment. And so here's where Elastic comes in with their Elk Stack. Now, Elastic does have some minor competitors, but the way I see it, there are not that many major companies really intruding into their space. As an example, Datadog, they're constantly brought up as a competitor to Elastic, but they're not really a competitor. Datadog is more on cloud monitoring and just simply monitoring, whereas Elastic is more as helping companies go through their data and analyze it. In fact, companies looking for a cheaper and more customizable option might actually turn to Elastic, and even companies already using Elastic might even expand their use cases. And by the way, interesting fact, Datadog actually uses Elastic. Now, one big thing that I really like about Elastic is their willingness to invest back into their business to make their product more complete. Elastic NV recently branched into security to aggregate and analyze log data, as well as security threats through their endpoint security system. And this is powered by their $234 million acquisition last year of Endgame to protect user devices. And on their website, compared to CrowdStrike and Carbon Black, they note several features that CrowdStrike and Carbon Black lack in their base products, such as having the ability to deploy on cloud, on-prem, or hybrid environments. So the company is really focused on expansion, as we'll see more of in just a little bit. Now, taking a look at the juicy numbers, here's where things get really interesting and really good. You already know that we like to take a look at the numbers because this is where the truth lies. This is where we really get to see how's the company doing. And holy smokus, this ain't no jokus. Shout out to my man Jeremy. Now, taking a look at their numbers, annual revenue growth is beginning to slow, but is still really high. Revenues grew 42% in 2021 to $609 million and are expected to grow at 30% next year as well, meaning about $780 million in revenue. Now, Elastic's gross margins could still also increase, meaning it could increase profitability as well. Currently, gross margins are at 74%, and I think over the years they could easily work their way up to the 80s, which would really help increase profitability because currently they are a money-losing company. But losses are decelerating as they were even able to generate positive free cash flow, which means that they were able to increase their cash balance despite losing money, which is a really healthy sign. And according to management, this trend of positive free cash flow is even expected to continue into next year. Now, Elastic stock is trading at a price to sales of 17, which definitely is a little pricey, but comparing that to a bunch of other tech stocks stocks, it's actually on the low end to the medium end. And one thing that I really like about the company is their willingness to reinvest back into their business to continue to grow and expand. As we're seeing with companies like Splunk, their stocks have been taking a beating because of the lack of innovation and pricey products. But you already know the management for Elastic on their earnings call told us that they plan to continue to aggressively invest back into their business to capture the long-term market. They already work with top tier companies like Netflix, Uber, Adobe, and a ton more, and if they can further their monopoly, I mean, I'm not complaining. And another reason why I'm not too worried about their losses in the short term is that they have significantly more assets than liabilities. Elastic currently has a current ratio of 1.34, meaning for every dollar of liabilities, they have $1.34 of assets, so that's very healthy. So what's my good old price target, what you guys all came here for? Well, I still think Elastic NV stock could rise significantly, approximately 70% to $250 by 2023. Now this would imply a market cap of roughly $24 billion, and next year, Elastic actually plans to enter a whole new league of companies by hitting that $1 billion in annual revenue mark. Considering its growth rate of 30 to 20% to continue for the next few years and its market leadership, I think this is definitely justified. Companies like Datadog, which is a stock that I told you guys to buy way back at $90 a share, that stock is trading at a $40 billion market cap. Then we have Splunk trading at a $24 billion market cap, and it's a stock that I would personally never touch. Then I also saw this article by Richard Chu where he compared Elastic to MongoDB. They both have similar revenues and growth multiples, and even though MongoDB is a stronger leader in its field, comparing market caps and other multiples, I could see Elastic NV on par with MongoDB's valuation. Now that's just my personal price target, but even analysts have their price targets set at a median price of 177, with price targets going as high as 212. So you can see that even analysts are really bullish on this stock. So that wraps up the juicy fundamentals, all the numbers, all the in-depth overview. Now let's jump into the technicals, but before we do so, if you want to learn technical analysis for yourself and a ton of advanced trading strategies, be sure to go get my new book, A Technical Trader's Handbook, on Amazon. That's now the #1 hot release in the world in public finance. It covers so many advanced trading strategies that have helped me help you guys catch 100% gains simply because of technicals. So be sure to go get it or join the Gen Z Trader Academy down below. So let's jump into the technicals. So taking a look at the technicals, we can see that Elastic has been forming higher highs and higher lows, which is a really bullish thing, but it kind of seems like we're forming an ascending wedge. You can see how we're starting to face some resistance, and we're not able to continuously force new highs now and getting tighter and tighter and tighter in this range. So it kind of looks a little bearish, and like Elastic NV could potentially pull back. So I'd personally be looking for it to find a major level of support, probably all the way down here at about 135. This is where it had support over here, previous level of resistance when we pushed up. And again, it's a major level of support here at 135. Overall, and on the MACD, our side, we're a little overbought, not really. The MACD line recently crossed above the signal line, showing that buyers are still in control of the momentum. So overall, it's looking, like I said, somewhat bullish, somewhat bearish, and we just have to see if this wedge plays out. If we break out to the downside, I could see it come to 135 where I look to buy. Now, if we continued higher and broke above this resistance level here at 158, where we're starting to face some resistance, and let's say it broke out higher, because all we know, stocks can go either way, right? We can do our best to predict their trends, but at the end of the day, it's all about market movement and what really happens. Now, if we break out to the upside and break above 158, where we also had a previous level of resistance up over here, then I think Elastically definitely heads up all the way to all-time highs, all the way up here at 170. This is the next level of resistance, and beyond that, we could see an even larger push to the upside. So if we do get a definitive break above 158, I'll be looking to take a little position right into here and add more to my investment position if I see a continuation in the trend. So with that being said, that's the technicals and that's the video on Elastic NV. It's a great solid company with a lot of upside, I think, in the long term. So if you haven't already and you enjoyed this in-depth technical breakdown, be sure to like and subscribe and go get my new book, A Technical Trader's Handbook, if you want to learn technical analysis for yourself. And I'll see you guys in the next one.